Are you considering a move to Manteca, California, but you're not super familiar with the area, or maybe you just don't really know if it's the right city for you? Well, today I'm going to go over some of the top pros and the top cons of living in Manteca, California, so you can get a better idea if this may or may not be the right city for you. If you're thinking of moving to the Central Valley of California, then make sure you hit subscribe and tap that bell for notifications so you can be the first one updated about the Central Valley real estate market. Hi, I'm Alex. I'm a realtor based out of Turlock, California, and I get calls from people just like you every single day looking to make a move here to the Valley. So whether you're moving in 9 or 90 days, feel free to reach out to me through booking a Zoom call, text, or send me an email, and I'd be happy to sit down with you and go over exactly what it is that you're looking for. So if you're not super familiar with Manteca, to give you a better idea of where it's located, it's right outside of Ripon and Lathrop. And if you're still confused where we're at, since those are all smaller towns, we have Stockton pretty close by, as well as Modesto. So those should give you a pretty good idea of where it's located. It's also just about a couple hours away from the Bay Area, depending on where you're going and depending on if you're hitting rush hour traffic. Now, Manteca has been a growing city, and there's been a lot of expansion, and they have a population of around 86,500, and it's been growing pretty significantly. So it's definitely a city that you're going to want to watch out for growth and development. So let's just jump straight into the pros first. And the first one is actually a really major one, and that is it's a pretty family-friendly environment. And this is not even just my opinion, it's honestly the city's opinion. The city has nicknamed itself the family city. So the city sees itself as a family environment, and we've seen a lot of actions taken by the city to prove that. So there's a ton of kid-approved parks and playgrounds. The city maintains around 70 different neighborhood parks, all of them that have been pretty upgraded with modern playgrounds. There's shaded picnic areas. Some have pickleball courts or walking trails. So they do a really good job maintaining those, and it's just fun for people of all ages to go to those. Now, there's also other activities that are specifically geared towards children. And the first is there's Great Wolf Lodge. Now, Great Wolf Lodge is a hotel / indoor water park. So no matter what time of year it is, you can go to this water park, and the water is fairly warm, I should say. And it's honestly so much fun for the whole family and a good just weekend getaway, even if you're within Manteca, because I do believe you have to book a room for the night to go to the Great Wolf Lodge. Someone tell me in the comments. I actually haven't personally been there in a very, very long time, but it's so much fun for family, and it's right in the middle of Manteca. Now, they also have different community recreation spots. So we have the Big League Dreams Sports Park. So it's like a scaled down baseball stadiums. There's, I believe, indoor soccer. There's a lot of youth sports leagues offered too for kids. So a lot of different sports that they can choose from and play. And then lastly, there's a ton of community events in Manteca, or a lot of seasonal events, I should say. So especially in the fall. The fall is my favorite time for these events because there is the pumpkin fair, they have the cross street festivals, they have music in the park. I want to say that's in summer, but I'm not quite sure. And then there's just a lot of different gatherings throughout the year, smaller events to get together that the city puts on. So I think that the city nicknaming itself the family city, it lives up to its reputation. There really is a lot of opportunities for kids and just the whole family. So another perk to living in Manteca is it's a very rapidly growing city, which means it's providing a lot more opportunities and just a lot more things to do in the area. So one of the really notable things that the city is currently working on is their family entertainment zone. Now, they're in the works on this, and this is going to be a 150-acre area being developed by the city with the intention of drawing sit-down restaurants, entertainment venues, hotels, shops, boutiques, and more. So it's pretty much going to be a huge plaza that they're putting together, and they're calling it the Family Entertainment Zone. So I'm really excited to see what they bring into that. I mean, if they're saying it's family entertainment, I'm sure there's going to be some type of different things to do for kids as well too. So really excited that they're not done with that yet. They're still working on it, but very excited. Now, the other thing about it growing is there's a ton of new construction homes in Manteca. So if you are into modern and new, then this is going to be a great location for you to look at. There's just so many options. Be aware though, with some of these newer builds, some of them do have mellow roofs and additional taxes. just because you're working on developing a new area. So those taxes can pay for the new schools, the new parks, the road construction, everything that goes on into building a community. But I think it's really great that there's been a ton of new construction because there is a huge need for it here in California since we have such a large housing shortage. Now, lastly, with the growing city, Manteca actually is also working on their transit center. They are working on the ACE commuter rail, and I think that's supposed to start in around 2025 or 2026. They announce those dates, so whatever they announce, it's usually the later date. So expect it to be 2026, maybe even 2027, depending on how quick they work on it. And that'll be great for if you want to go to the Bay Area, it'll take you there, which currently in the Central Valley, these areas, we don't have that yet. So that's huge. Manteca is growing very fast, and if you're into development like that, like myself, then this is going to be a great community for you. Now, the next pro of living in Manteca is there's honestly a lot of things to do there, which is kind of surprising given that it only has a population of 90,000 or a little less. It's not a huge city. Compared to like Modesto nearby is a population of around 200,000 or 200 plus thousand. So being that it's under 100,000 people, it's actually really impressive that there's so many things to do here. So as I mentioned, the Great Wolf Lodge, of course, they have the Delicato family wines tasting room, so local vineyards in the area. We have a Bass Pro Shop in Manteca, and if you've never visited a Bass Pro Shop, you do not have to be into all that outdoor stuff, hunting, fishing, boating, any of it, because I'm not really into that stuff, but I love visiting it. It's honestly just a whole different experience going through a Bass Pro Shop, and we have a really big one here in Manteca, so it's cool to go through. I know during the holidays they do other events at Bass Pro too, like I think they do pictures with Santa, so a lot of people go for that as well. Now we also have the promenade shops. This is where Bass Pro is located. Inside there, we also have the AMC movie theaters, some other local restaurants and small shops too. And then one of my favorite things is there is the Deloso Family Farms in Manteca. Now this is a huge, it started as like a pumpkin patch and it's turning into this really big entertainment option during the fall. So they have a huge corn maze that is so much fun. They have pumpkin patches, they have a small, well, I don't know if they have it every year, but they usually have like a little haunted house. They have slides, and I don't mean just normal slides, I mean huge slides on little blankets that kids and well, adults too can go down. I think they have like pumpkin tossing, so you can slingshot a pumpkin. There's just so many things going on there, and every year they seem to add on more and more things. So in the fall, winter, or not winter time, fall around Halloween, definitely go check out Deloso Farms, and it's really cool that it's just right here in Manteca. And then the last thing, this kind of goes to the last pro of the growing community, but they are bringing a 10-pin fun center to Manteca. Now there currently is a 10-pin fun center in Turlock, and it's a bowling alley with a small arcade. Now this one in Manteca is going to be really big. It's going to be over 82,000 square feet, 2 different stories, and if it's anything, or 2 separate stories, and if it's anything like the Turlock one, it'll also probably have a restaurant included. Now what I love about the 10-pin one in Turlock, which again I'm sure will be similar to the Manteca one, is as you're bowling, you can actually order food and drinks, including alcoholic beverages too. So when they mean fun for the whole family, they really mean it. But overall, there's just a lot of stuff to do here in Manteca, given it's so impressive given its small size. Now the final pro I'm going to talk about today is it's very commuter friendly. Now if you're looking at a map, Manteca has a super easy freeway access. We have the Highway 99, we have the 5, and we have the 120 that all run through, not necessarily in the middle, but on the outskirts of Manteca. So no matter which way you're going, north, south, east, west, there is a ton of different options for you to go. So if one highway's backed up, then there's always another option for you, which is super convenient. Now it's also really close to major cities. So like I said, we have a lot of commuters in the area. So if you're looking to commute to San Jose, Livermore, Oakland, San Francisco, any of those big Bay Area cities, it's very commuter friendly and easy to get to. Now, beware of the traffic. We are going to talk about that in the cons. Any time you leave during rush hour, it's going to be tough getting around some of this traffic. But in general, a lot of people from the Bay like to move to Manteca but still work in the Bay because you can make more money, but have a little bit lower cost of living in the Central Valley. And as I talked about too, they are working on that ACE train expansion. So that'll make it even more commuter friendly, whether you either don't have a car, don't want to fight rush hour traffic, or it just makes more sense financially. There's a ton of reasons why you might want to take this train instead. This is going to be a huge bonus for commuters in the Manteca area. Now that we've talked about some of the major pros, I'm also going to share some of the biggest cons of living in Manteca so you are aware of what you're getting yourself into if you do choose to move there. Like any city, there's going to be cons, so let's just jump straight into the first one, which is traffic. Like I said, we would touch on. So there is pretty heavy traffic during rush hour. So if you are going towards the bay, I can pretty much guarantee you if you're leaving during rush hour, you're going to hit a lot of traffic. Same thing coming home. Now, if you're traveling the opposite direction, you probably won't hit any traffic, but that wouldn't make any sense to pay more expensive cost of living and then work in Manteca. So it's normally people hit that traffic if you have just a normal 9-to-5 office job. And there's a lot of backup of people try to go through the main streets. So instead of getting on the highways and freeways, we have commuters from Ripon, Modesto, Salida that choose to go through some of the main roads in Manteca, and those can clog up those roads too. So even if you're not a commuter, sometimes or oftentimes during rush hour, school pickup, all of that, there's a lot of traffic even just throughout town because of these commuters that are cutting through to get to the freeways. But most of the time when they're going to the bay, they stick to those freeways, and I can say that coming back, like at the end of the day, trying to get off of that 120 onto the 99 is absolutely miserable. There always seems to be a huge line to get on there for whatever reason. There's just like a bottleneck and backup right there. Every single day, it's without fail. Now, on a positive note though, they are working on some improvements and solutions. So there is a major SR99/120 connector upgrades that they are currently working on. So that will include additional lanes, some improved ramps, and some of the major roads in Manteca being expanded. So this should help ease traffic. Now, the only thing with this though is as they're working on it, that means construction. So construction can make the traffic a little bit worse before it gets better. But once we get through all that construction, I'm hopeful that it will be much better during these commuting times. Now, the next con to Manteca is there is limited nightlife. Manteca really only has a handful of bars and lounges, and they're mostly small and casual neighborhood spots. You're not going to find those big nightclubs or upscale lounges, late night dance venues. If you want those, they have some options in Modesto and Stockton, but like most Central Valley towns and cities, it just doesn't really compare to the Bay Area. So if you're a huge nightlife person, big night owl, this is going to be more of a quiet town where a lot of the shops, stores, and restaurants close around 10 or 11 p.m. So might not be the best option for you, but just be aware, any Central Valley town you're looking at, we're not known for the big partying and the really late night times. Like I said though, Modesto is fairly close, and they do have some clubs in downtown that are fun to go to and usually open till around 2 a.m. So also, if you are interested in concerts, comedy shows, theatrical performances, you probably will have to drive a little bit further. There's, again, not a lot offered in Manteca, but fortunately you are in a very convenient location where you can drive to some of these bigger cities. Now, this third con goes against probably what you hear from a lot of people, and it's that it's actually not cheap to live here in Manteca. Now, a lot of people assume all parts of the Central Valley are super cheap, and that's why people move there. On the contrary, Manteca is actually not as affordable as compared to a lot of the other Central Valley cities. And that's mostly because of all those Bay Area commuters that we get moving here. It really drives up the prices. So the closer we get to the Bay, the higher the prices seem to go. To give you the stats, the median home price is around $630,000 and the median rent is around $1,900 a month. So that is about 24% higher than the US average. Now, let me backtrack just a little bit to say that yes, it is much more affordable than the Bay Area. You're gonna find home prices way cheaper and bigger homes, bigger lot sizes for way less. But if you're wanting significantly more affordable, you're going to have to go more south towards Merced County, Stanislaus County, but really Merced County towards Fresno County is going to be the cheapest option. So, and it would save you probably a couple $100,000 in home prices just for a standard 3-bedroom, 2-bath. And so as I'm saying this though, I don't want you to think it's crazy expensive. It is cheaper than most of California. It is about 16.8% lower cost of living compared to the rest of California. So like all the Central Valley, it's going to be less. But Manteca, a lot of people have this idea that it's going to be super affordable, easy to get into their first home. But in reality, because of a lot of these Bay Area people coming here, it is driving up prices. So just be aware of that, and you might be better off going, again, more south, get something more affordable. And lastly, here in Manteca, there is kind of a limited local job market. We don't have as many high-paying white-collar jobs in town, like the tech, finance, marketing, legal industries, as they do in the Bay. So again, that's why a lot of people have to commute to the Bay if they want a big corporate job, if they want to climb that corporate ladder, then you're just not going to find that in Manteca. And the wages here just don't always match the living costs. So while the cost of living is significantly lower here than the Bay, sometimes our wages aren't keeping up with how much growth and development is going on with Manteca. So again, why so many people commute to the Bay? That's the exact reason. And if you are looking for a huge career change, once again, I can't seem to hammer this in enough, is you're gonna have to go to the Bay. Now, don't think that there's not any job opportunities in Manteca. If you are looking for some smaller, maybe agricultural based, there's a lot of opportunities, but if I just want your expectations to be a little bit lower when it comes to the big corporate jobs. Well, I hope this was helpful and gave you a better idea as to whether Manteca is going to be the right or the wrong city for you. If you are looking to make a move here to the Central Valley, feel free to contact me. My contact information is listed below in the comment section, and I am happy to show you around the town.